If you voted for the Conservatives in the last election, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should hang your head in shame. The Tories are an absolute disgrace, an utter disgrace. They're hypocritical, selfish, arrogant, obnoxious, greedy, hateful. But we knew this before the general election, and we voted them a bloody majority. But I don't just blame the Tories for the way society is heading. Labour and Ed Miliband need to shoulder some of the blame, because Miliband especially was so inept, so awful, just so unelectable. They say Jeremy Corbyn is unelectable. Well, he's a damn sight more electable than Ed Miliband ever was. At least Jeremy Corbyn has a vision. Ed Miliband was a dithering, blundering fool. We were told the Tories were going to be the nasty party if they got elected, but what they're doing now is just beyond a joke. Ian Duncan Smith is horrible. He is utterly horrible. He's arrogant. He's uncaring. He just has no empathy whatsoever. And he sums up the Conservative Party. He is single-handedly destroying people's lives. And do you know what? I think he bloody loves it. He doesn't care about anyone apart from himself and his party, the bankers and warmongers. Have a look at these two articles. Grieving mum shocked after DWP called demanding son's whereabouts 1 day after his funeral. A mother was called the day after her son's funeral to ask why he hadn't attended a meeting about his job seekers allowance. The Department of Work and Pensions has apologised, oh that's big of them, to Jacqueline Brown, who says she was appalled to receive the phone call on Tuesday despite filling out all the necessary forms to tell them what had happened. Jacqueline's son, 31-year-old James, was taken to hospital with meningitis several weeks earlier. I think it's disgraceful what they've done. So do I, Jacqueline. Less than 24 hours after I buried my son, I was taking calls demanding to know where he was. No mother should have to go through this. I did everything they asked and they have lied to me and continue to keep contacting me. Unbelievable. They honestly have no empathy. These people do not care about people's lives. DWP staff given suicide guidance ahead of Ian Duncan Smith's welfare reforms. Frontline staff at the Department of Work and Pensions have been given guidance on how to deal with suicidal benefit claimants. It's been reported. The Sunday Herald newspaper says workers have been handed a 6-point plan on how to deal with people denied benefits who appear to be suicidal. Staff at call centres have been instructed to allow rejected claimants for universal credit to talk about their intention to kill themselves. We apparently live in one of the richest countries in the world, and we're training our Department of Work and Pensions staff to counsel people when they're suicidal because they cut their benefits and they can't feed themselves. What is going on? Oh, but you can bet your bottom dollar that when MPs vote to murder innocent women and kids in a far-off land in October, that they'll find the billions that this next war is gonna cost. You can also bet your bottom dollar that they will find the tens, if not hundreds of billions to give to Tory donating bankers when the next financial collapse happens. They'll find the money for that, but they'll stop the sickness benefits for the most vulnerable in our society, who the Department of Work and Pensions know some of them will kill themselves. What is going on? If we allow them to get away with this, where does it end? Do we allow them to roast poor kids in the grounds of 10 Downing Street? Where is our humanity? Where is our collective empathy? Where has it gone? Why is everything about me, me, me? Why are we unable to care for anybody else? Why do we always just turn a blind eye? Our government are complicit in the deaths of untold numbers of people after they've had their benefits sanctioned, leaving some people to live on £5 a day. And now, before the next wave of cuts, they're getting ready to deal with the people who they know will commit suicide directly because of Ian Duncan Smith and the fact that he wants as much money for the party as he can to be able to afford to kill women and children, innocent women and children in far-off lands to protect the bankers and help corporations. This government is an absolute disgrace. Gandhi said, "A nation's greatness is measured by how it treats its weakest members." And that is still true today. And look at us. Look at our government. Look at the heartless Tories. They're destroying the lives of so many for the few. David Cameron is a disgrace. Ian Duncan Smith is a disgrace. Our Chancellor, George Osborne, snorts cocaine and sleeps with prostitutes. What is going on? It's going to take more than Jeremy Corbyn to save this country. It's going to take a movement, a grassroots movement by people who care, by people who want a fairer society. By doing nothing, we are all helping Ian Duncan Smith and David Cameron purge society of the poorest. They see the poor as a drain to be killed off. This is tantamount to ethnic cleansing. And what are we doing about it? Nothing. When will enough be enough? Do you know why they push the likes of Facebook and Twitter all the time over the last few years? Well, it's because psychologically it makes everybody feel important and it turns them into narcissists. We see this every day. People taking selfies all the time. Me, 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 me. They do not care about anybody else other than themselves. We're in big trouble. We need to rise up, people, and fast. Just how many people are we going to be allowed to be killed by this government in our own country because they can't afford to feed themselves while the bankers gorge on billions, taxpayers' billions, and the government look to start another multi-billion-pound war in a far-off land, which will be fought ultimately for those same bankers and corporations while people on our own streets die of starvation. Utterly disgusting.